Chapter 1, Wednesday. You know what? I kind of find it hard to believe Miss Mac isn't going to let me go to Camp Synergy. Just because they lost some light skinned punk named Desmond caused farther problems all the way up doesn't mean Miss Mac will keep myself stuck here in Mohican. Or maybe yes. Because I'm starting to think if Miss Mac could send me over towards the true worst group on campus, which is actually those Buccaneers. After all, what can possibly go wrong inside of their dorm? Right? Many things. First of those Bucks issues would be that they're not moving because it's a horrible group overall. Second of my issues is whenever I'll try AWOLing, yet AWOLing may totally be difficult. Right now, giving up on that factor may never be explained in terms, although realizing what will cost towards plotting ahead of time shouldn't turn out too risky, especially one day if I come up with a plan. Nothing should have begun harder around Desmond's selfish act. He's hecka nosy as frick until realizing what Nina would have wanted me to do is a top secret known as never stop running. Running away is perfectly matched with what I explained here. Nowadays, I think to myself and figure the numerous and dumb decisions I'd had along other placements, but instead, since I'm still in Ohio, nothing's worth risking over. To be extremely honest, Dayton didn't have places to hide compared from Shasta County doing so. Nevertheless, life's a howl of shame. Except when it comes down to movies, them bad guys always win and bad guys don't. The goon guys always win, my bad. Because the bad guys don't. Sadly, mom's boyfriend won unfairly. Anyways, changing the subject, John told me he was possibly getting dropped, but not because of his MP3 yesterday backlash. If I had to guess, he's most likely going to get dropped over not letting himself overcome a crisis within. What I mean is, Joe Nathan holded our group up. Meaning sitting and crying steadily in that great room chair, head down with hood covered good. At first sight, I kind of thought John was mad at me, but he truthfully admitted it wasn't because of myself. No, John explained he kept getting mad towards himself. Look, admitting my problems around Mr. Matt's therapeutic self is totally fine. Yet, yes, already, Mr. Matt may not even be helpful because Mr. Matt said he's going to hand over his mantle to a new therapist who literally began working here. Struggling inside this treatment cornfest, I need something. Just something I'll save in a year before growing 18 years of age. A decision will become riskier, except last month when John and me were still roommates, he revealed the dark truth about Mohican Star Academy, which isn't, and probably isn't, a myth. John whispered that he's seen Mohican's basement before, because once him and his old Vikings group entered those horrific shadows, John explained that Mohican used to be a DYS indeed. John says all you gotta do is go past the dumpster located from across the school, then walk straight downwards and take a left backwards as easily as a Bon Appetit. Truthfully, maybe John's wrong and he's just making up stories, yet why don't we do seek first instead? I mean, it's never safe than sorry, so yeah? But correct me if I'm wrong. While I was struggling inside my group, whose butt would honestly save ours? Nobody. Unless, like Chris or other POs tell me otherwise, including Miss Mac, that they sign you up so they want you to complete the program, except such facts can tell differently. Unlike most peers inside this this place, I've seen and peeked a listing on whose county is which during school last year. Let me tell you, nobody's from Hawking County. True facts, in case you're not aware, the day I got picked up from a shaver, and she was preparing me for my outly progress during books 1, explained bit by bit, what she didn't catch was myself being nosy, watching or wanting the evidence indeed. And those key elements are the reason on why Dory's coming over to see me this Sunday. Ever since Dad's number has been erased, he'll never win, period. Uh-oh, look out, big giant gorilla ape taking over New York City, but look out, Super Nick saves the day. Besides acting sarcastically obnoxious, yeah, Dad wouldn't dare testing his own son, even if he had the cardacity to do some magic. Unfortunately, it's gonna turn outly terrible, because dreaming for extra help would have came in close tip-top shape. Lots and lots of backlashes shall kept continuing, so let this be my best book yet. Foster Care in California Love, Part 1. Chapter 1, A Wonderful Memory Lane. After my mother sent me to a hospital, I smoked away too much weed, ending with a bad old blackout. Only those few times were ever seen. Visualizing mom dropping off her foods and snacks was emotionally sad. I woke up around 10 a.m. the next day watching Fast and Furious 7 on FX channel. Then I went towards a mental hospital, though California's version sucks compared to Ohio's, no offense. An unexpected video call by CPS came in, and this led me heading for a foster home. Before me going inside first handed towards Auntie's place, I laid back and CPS gave myself those goodies. Munching onto pizza from Little Caesars, I will enjoy my stay watching TMT 123, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Such and such. Living the California love, Auntie interviewed herself, and once this dust finally settled, she drove me to welcome a fond memory lane. First things first was when me and her were sitting on these dumb couches, and the next thing you'll understand is that those random group of teenagers show up from a movie they came watching titled Venom Let There Be Carnage. Trying to talk calmly, a girl who's 16 is apparently pregnant has lied on them couches, speaking only a few sentences is extra forgettable. During night one, there was a kid who, at the time, was exactly the same age as me. His name went by Jameson, and he'll do just about anything. As long as he gets food, you're pretty much set forwards. I remember how Auntie drove me to Walmart, letting myself grab a candy lot, and in it contained juicy drops plus more. Afterwards, Auntie took me to where Jameson, including her kids named Kyle and another one's name I couldn't remember, were hanging out at. Can you probably guess? The park around where Summer Golsky lives at. Though not gonna cap, but meeting Jameson's friends of his felt sorta quick, cleaned and checked. One in particular was a sister of the pregnant sister whom I just witnessed earlier. Her name is titled Cherish. Cherish was cool for real, especially being cute and stuff like that. Cherish didn't know why I even ran around nighttime, yet she kinda made me feel like she thought myself running was fun to watch. Lots of kids in Shasta County loves runners, as a matter of fact. An auntie drove myself back home, let me watch TV till 1 a.m. in the earliest morning. Drinking Mountain Dew was a dream to live up for, but that's when Jameson and his friends came back high as hell. Unfortunately, I could have slept right next to Cherish in Kyle's bedroom around 3 a.m. What kind of backfired that moment on was when came waking up being nosy. Cherish was like a big sister towards me, though now falling in love was boundaries in Cherish's mindset. She wouldn't let me cuddle up, because Cherish explained that Auntie could probably get into huge trouble according towards CPS's protocols. Cherish sat at Kyle's brother's spare bed, and she tried talking me out of this problem, so I obeyed by what she told me to do. Waking sudden morning, I took a peek into Kyle's broken off wooded door frame, and that's when I spotted Cherish sleeping with Kyle through that white wooded door frame. The frick she doing me dirty for? I came almost stepping into Jameson, drunk as heck, sleeping and enjoying the messy carpeted floor. Feeling hungry, Auntie went to come along towards a nearest grocery store. And in that grocery store was when we picked all good stuff, tasting fine as frick. I cannot say I'm inside back again, slotting those El Monterey chicken taquitos into the oven's finest core being cooked greasily. Kyle's dad surprisingly made an appearance, and he allowed me to go over and watch Venom Let There Be Carnage, so I picked out a really good selection of snacks plus popcorn, including some ice slushies. Things began getting greasy inside that movie theater, while desperately enjoying Carnage fighting against Venom's alter ego. I had lots of things to say once I came back. So explaining towards Jameson, Kyle, and Cherish was another memory ticketed memorable. That night, Jameson and Cherish were smoking weed inside of their vehicle, because apparently Auntie doesn't feel fond of teens blowing ruckus inside household importance. Whatever Jameson began crying about, it didn't seem too good at all, and to this day I may never understand what they were doing through early on. So what happened on my last day inside Auntie's household? Third day, Cherish left, heading over back to her other side of the California trainway. But for myself, I rocked watching What If Season 1 on Disney+. Leaving early the next day felt sort of crummy if you'd insight about where future parts of this story continue later onwards. Ending at Chapter 1's point of viewership. Don't give up, even you feel like those cool people you'll spend time towards is unbreakable ending discussion. If you thought I was done with this story, I am. Moving on to Chapter 2. Chapter 2, Thursday. Dreaming away and forgetting about Mohican is impossible, especially waking early into this morning. While Miss McGee trapped my shoulder, felt like I was going to war. Should have known Chris be coming along the ride too. But now a Spartan grad named Jaden is also involved. For the first round ever. Maybe I could have AWOL during this transport speedway drive. Until not thinking outside of my own box won't apply. Thankfully, we had some crispy chicken biscuits this morning, which felt good to eat. The only thing I could possibly say is that it's difficult eating inside of a car, taking a much more risky left and right, exactly how roller coasters work. And what do you know? We were back towards another freaking dentist appointment. Wonderful. You pretty much sit on your seat watching some old stuff that's never broadcasted onto TV. Then you're seeing seniors graduate from different high schools across the state of Ohio. That's y'all. Why do people even pay attention to this type of stuff? Wish I could be there enjoying my late childhood, sadly enough. What sucks worse is the fact that I'll probably be stuck inside Mohican Youngstar Academy while everyone ditches myself off to Camp Synergy. Couldn't I just have swam across the lake rather than just with these idiotic Mohican people keeping me stuck, draining out more vitamin D? These Mustang peers been getting excited around me about Camp Synergy way too much. It's having myself become sick as a dog. In fact, leaving Mohican's butt behind is just as perfect as it sounds, not gonna lie. Day one inside here was literally traumatizing to the max. Mohican has nowadays become more strict, feeling about staying put on the outs. The dentist gave me a numb's mouth, and driving back, Miss Litz asked me what was wrong. I told Miss Litz I hate feeling like I'll never memorize those precious moments after and before Nina died long ago, and that I won't be able to see Camp Synergy from eyesight's experience roadmap ending for me. Miss Litz may have said that it's normal you feel that type of way, yet explaining to Miss Litz about why Miss Mac don't understand anything I was explaining, nor understanding the individuals Miss Litz onto Miss Mac's side of things. Miss Litz kind of left me back there over in the great room with no privs, even though she's pretty surely taking over another shift Miss Mac asked her to do. Surely I can find an exit ticket out of this dump, but I'm guessing worth noting how nobody finds ways supporting myself when needed will be a serious issue. Miss Mac don't care whether somebody was murdered or whenever Miss Mac thinks it's right, taking advantage by restraining me nevertheless. Disappointing how missing out still being a kid feels sad, hella sad. I watch a kid having fun and clapping hands with his mom, so remembering those old times feels as though I'll never get back anytime sooner, or maybe never again. Mom brought me into this type of worldwide phenomenon. She'd usually at least do those exact same things as I began looking at now. My mother, when she left me hanging one day, along with Jason Haley, I sat inside my own bedroom and became crying away for so long. It was an emotional ride once DCF took me and my siblings from Mom's random friends of hers. Rainy days, cold hard nights, Mom needed me more than ever. Sometimes even legends never die, including Christopher G plus more. The story of a dark out defector named Christopher G. Chapter 2. How me and him first met, Part 1. Back in 2018, it was around a cold February season, and Mom just got me into a city school in Lowell, Massachusetts. It's actually around the time that my mother took me back for her own custody. So, during one really early morning, we drove towards Sullivan Middle School. My mom's boyfriend, Joyce Venoroff and Fu, dropped me off, and I began getting introduced to my IP classroom. Therefore, I saw Christopher G inside of the IP classroom's window. He acted sorta goofy, waving at myself until Aza was all over me like I'm her love puppy or whatnot. Aza kept grabbing my hand, embracing the frick out of me. And then, all of a sudden, kids in the fifth grade were your typical Massachusetts bully zone. It's like, you're never welcome unless you'd be the one of them. But I'm expecting that I'm not. On the first day I was sitting down and eating my packed lunch from home, Christopher G had other allies letting me come sit right next to them and acting totally goofy. Christopher G speaks out his first ever words saying, "Welcome to our group, buddy." Back then, we had an awesome teacher named Mr. V, or whatever you call him, because boy, man, he's cool as heck. Mr. V was like a serious sensei slash coach, wanting himself to become welcome to his classroom. Around those times spared, Christopher G used YouTube as an advantage on goofing around. Sullivan Middle School didn't block YouTube at all till my second year prior coming to that middle school. I'll never lie while saying this, but no matter if we were in a serious classroom session beneath, Christopher G always found ways towards being a straight clown of the top circus. As a true fact, Mr. V got sick of Christopher G goofing around too dang much, so he made Christopher G study every single time he was at his house. No cap, but I'll bet y'all Christopher G got sick of this bull crap he be staying almost 24/7 day and night. Also, Christopher G usually made plush videos being funny, funny, funny. I figured out by now he'd be copying every voice line from Sir Pell's YouTube channel. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't even figure this out if Christopher never began saying the Giggle Juice. Rephrased as a bottle of liquor slash alcohol slash wine. Great job, YouTube. Anyways, before moving on to part 2 of this story, I'll give out honorable mentions if I forget mentioning their names. After all, I do be forgettable a lot. Chapter 2, Things Tend to Mesh Upwards, Part 2. During May through June of 2018, Mr. V gave us 2 field trips, one with Jay-Z's go-karting place, mixed in with an ice cream stand, arcade area, batting cages, bumper cars, and a golfing place, added with a bumper boats to the center act. We were on our way. Christopher G came on. Sharon was involved, and so was Marcus too. Kehlani Chum hanged out, including Kai Steele and Asa P. Lots of things felt kind of slow, crazy. Yet, except this was my first time ever stepping into a go-kart racing against Christopher G. Eating pizza became acceptable. Licking on those ice cream flavors felt good, so I totally enjoyed them golden age beginnings. Until those days built backwards during year 2 in Sullivan. Before all that, Mr. V was taking us to go watch The Incredibles 2. Mr. V even invited myself inside the library, making a deal. When whom I'm not, I bet you, he surely did deals like any person who or would have been famous as heck. My mother let me buy a decent amount of candy for the movie, so bringing them and hiding it inside my backpack was mortally surprising. When we started taking a left down the hallway, a loud but giant group from another middle school swooshed past us, and we sat down waiting for The Incredibles 2 to start rolling. Walking out of the theater, I remember how Lewis zoomed pretty quick in returns of being fast enough towards the bus. Yet, year 2 felt wrong. Christopher G and me split at IP classrooms, being only inside with Mr. Rhoda's annoying teacherly butt. Only times Christopher G and me be hanging out is either something huge like holidays or days created, but other than that, year 2 was horrible. On those holidays around Christmas time, being shown fully capable of signing a Merry Christmas, Christopher G joked around about how Sharon was raped by the god idiots years ago. So Sharon said, "What?" Yep, those days were something else. Then, once Sullivan Middle School had middle schoolers graduate out of there, it began pouring like God as pissed on us. Year 2 ended, and year 3 wasn't going to fail me nor Christopher G, period. Around getting a school reopening during August of 2019, my mother met Christopher G's father, and him and mom began discussing how she's going to plan out a hangover. Continuing this story must stay put, because Miss Mac just made a deal with about if I do good for 3 weeks, Miss Mac's going to order me some Domino's pizza. I also made a deal with Miss Mac earlier about it. If I'm good with these last 4 days standing, I could still go over to the Camp Synergy. Miss Mac said, "We'll see." Topping all of this stuff being explained, inside Chapter 2, Coach Wilson announced earlier this week that he's giving even no privs some snack, pop, and more. Listener literary, my bad. Coach Wilson even tries saying he barely does this, but he's only doing this because of a new movie he'll let us watch that may come out tomorrow. I'm thinking he's either playing The Flash, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, or Transformers Rise of the Beast. And remember, this was in 2023, so. And the only thing I cannot accept is if he's playing that Haunted Mansion movie coming out. But like Coach Wilson teased towards myself already, it's gonna be an action type of movie. Now, if you enjoyed today's perfectly audiobook / podcast, not so perfect to be honest, make sure to hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't, and follow me on Money Heist Little 15 on Instagram. So anyways, I gotta catch you guys later because I gotta hit the hay. I don't know what time it is to be honest because I didn't check, but I'll check later, so my bad.